Barbara.
And I'm Karen, and we're the Sync Sisters. This is our tech bit on top ways to save your battery life.
All right, so battery life, particularly on the iPhone,
can be a problem for a lot of people, right?
A problem and a big topic of discussion.
Yeah.
So
especially if you're not good at keeping charged up, like my husband.
Yeah. Don't forget to plug in at night.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest tip, right?
Yeah, plug in.
Regularly charge your device.
That's right. But anyway, it is a big topic to talk about, and we've kind of updated it here for iOS 9. Many of these features do work for iOS 8 and iOS 7 as well, so feel free to give them a try. And first and foremost, we went to the source. We went to Apple. And
yep, the big cheese.
Yeah, what do they say about battery life? Well, they say a few things. First of all, they state to update to the latest software because they're continually making changes, and that having the latest software is really
makes sense.
A good thing to do, right? Yeah. We're big proponents of that too. Got to keep moving on the tech world. The other thing that Apple states is there are two simple ways to preserve battery life. They say so. We read that as these must be the two biggest,
most important
battery hogs, right?
Yep.
So dim your screen is the first tip. You should definitely dim your screen, and there are two ways you can do that. First of all, you can swipe up from the control center, and you can dim your screen here on the top. So you can just go ahead and dim it yourself. And notice that while you're dimming it, the background shows you what it's going to be, and then when you let go, it goes dark again because you're still in the control panel. But as soon as you close the control panel, it'll be at that dim level. That's one way to do it. You can also set auto brightness to on. So if you go into settings and you go to displays and brightness, you can then turn on an automatic feature where it will do it for you. But as one source we read about said, of course, if you do that, it's going to always be trying to brighten it up when you're in a situation, a bright situation. So we think if you're having a battery problem, just turn that off and set it yourself.
You know, and I also
pretty easy to do
on my iPad for sure. I have this off because I do a lot of iPadding right before bed, which I know they say isn't really good for sleep, but I'm fine with it. But I find in the dark in my bedroom, it like garishly brightens up. It's
turn it way down, and it may not make it as low as you want to. So it's easy to do because you can swipe up.
It's simple to do, because it's right here in the control panel. Easy to get to anywhere you are.
Right.
So that's a good tip. That's the first one. What's the second one?
The first one from Apple is use Wi-Fi. It uses a lot less power to access data than cellular data. So whenever you can, go on Wi-Fi. You can even limit your data usage to Wi-Fi. So you can go in, if we take a look at Wi-Fi settings. Go into Wi-Fi settings. And then you can tell it, oh, no, I'm wrong. Go into cellular. You're right. You gotta go into cellular.
Sense. Cellular, go into cellular.
And you can turn off, it must be down. Oh, it's right there. Cellular data. Yours is on. If you turn that off, it won't go over cellular network to pull data, which is also good if you're having a data problem.
So if you were downloading something from the internet, it won't use cellular.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. So that's
not the same as turning it off.
Pardon me?
Is it the same as turning off the cellular?
Yeah. You're turning it off. You're turning it off, not for phone calling, but for data.
Oh, okay. So
cellular data. Right.
That's a good thing to point out. Yep.
Right. Yeah. So actually, that would work with your data guzzling child.
Yeah. Right.
We were thinking that wouldn't work, but it would because it's just turning data.
Right.
You can still find him. You can still talk to him and text him.
Great.
Okay.
Okay. So those are the two biggest tips that Apple talks about.
That's right.
Now there is also another new feature with iOS 9, was it? Yep.
Yes, iOS 9.
And if we go into I'm in the settings app. If I go down to the battery.
Yep, battery.
Right. First of all, get in the habit of looking at your battery usage.
True.
The little icon up there.
There's an icon up on the right. And if you don't have battery percentage showing, you can turn that on here too.
Right here.
Go ahead and turn it off. And you're going to see the battery is just there showing you how full it is. But if you turn that on, you're going to get a percentage. It's easier to read.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And the second one is low power mode, right?
Right.
And what is that?
Well, low power mode is a new feature that Apple added to iOS 9. And basically when you turn this on, it's going to reduce power consumption with one switch. We're going to show you a lot of these tips, but this is one that'll turn off mail fetching, background app refresh, Hey Siri, auto downloads, some visual effects, and other things that really drain the power of the battery.
Okay.
So if you're in a pinch, your battery's down, you can come in here and just turn this on all by yourself, and it'll go into that mode.
Yep.
Right.
Oh, look, it even tells you.
It'll tell you exactly what it's
going to turn off.
Now, the system will warn you when you get to 20% and 10% of battery life. It'll say, hey, you're getting kind of down there. You want to turn on low battery power?
Right.
Or low battery mode? And you can just turn it on.
And I've seen that happen.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's only on the iPhone. It's not on the iPad. It's only on the iPhone.
Yep. And then when it gets to a certain charged state, it'll automatically turn off low power mode for you. So it's a good thing to use.
All right. And while we're in this battery thing, let's look at battery usage.
Let's look at battery usage. That comes
next. If I scroll down a little bit, this battery thing, I mean the battery settings.
The battery settings, yeah. You're being very descriptive this morning.
You can see here it says last 24 hours or last 7 days. You can see what is using up your battery.
What is using up
And this is really, really helpful.
Right.
Because if you're having a problem, you can come in here. And you can see for my phone here, the mail's taking up a lot, and messages and settings. I'm always I'm a good sixth sister. I'm always going into my settings, right?
Yeah.
So you can see and you could figure out if there's a problem, and you could go into that app and change its settings and focus on just that area if you want.
It'll also show you different things. If you notice under YouTube, it says background activity. It's been doing some background activity stuff.
Okay, all right.
So it's just showing you that it's doing that. It'll also show you things like if it's been using your location, you also no cell coverage or low signal, it'll show you. And then this home and lock screen. What that means is things coming up, your home screen and your lock screen turning on.
Oh, like when you get an alert, it turns it on.
Notification, it turns it on. Right.
Some people wouldn't think of that as using your battery, but it does.
Because again, the screen is one of your biggest battery consumers.
And up here is this clock, which is quite an interesting thing. If we tap on it,
it'll show you.
It'll show you in minutes, like 16 minutes on here, and 10 minutes on Find a Phone. And I'm always
look at 23
tracking down on my
in
kids.
Your settings. Wow.
I must have been preparing for our video.
You must have been. You must have been. But it's very interesting to be able to see this, and I know Karen doesn't have the Facebook app on her phone, but Facebook is one of the biggest hogs. On mine, it was 24%. I don't use Facebook that much, but apparently Facebook is very much of a battery hog. So they're saying take Facebook app even off and just use Facebook through Safari,
your browser,
through your web browser, or through Chrome. That it won't do a lot of its
which is what
stuff.
I do, but actually I don't really use Facebook.
But actually you don't really use it, so that's okay.
That's a different video, right? Okay, good.
All right, so that's that. And then,
so the next one, a way to save your battery is to turn off or to adjust AutoLock.
Right.
What is AutoLock? We're going to go into General.
Settings and then General.
And then we're going to go down to AutoLock. And what is that?
AutoLock.
This is when your phone, the amount of time before your phone, when it's inactive, is going to go to sleep. Right. It's going to turn off. Right. I think AutoLock, I guess lock screen. That's where the name comes from. I found it a little bit confusing when it first, the name. Right. I have it set on never right now because we're filming and we don't want my phone to go to sleep, right? Normally, I set it at 2 minutes. Yeah. And what that means is after 2 minutes, if I haven't been doing anything, it will go to sleep.
Right. And they added a 30 seconds with iOS 9, which is kind of nice too for people who really wanted to turn off. Really heavy battery users, they wanted to turn off.
30 seconds.
It's that screen. It goes back to that screen being the biggest issue.
Yeah. So I'm going to put it back to never because we're filming.
Now, the next thing is the antenna. The antenna on the iPhone is a big drainer. The antenna is constantly checking for nearby cellular towers and Wi-Fi networks.
Where is the antenna?
It's wrapped around the iPhone, so it's not something you see or you pull up or down or anything. You can see it right here. Yep.
That weight in here too.
Right. Yep. And so basically what they're saying here is that if you're in a situation where your battery is low, and let's say the power's gone off, there's a storm and you've only got 20% left on your battery, you can go ahead and you can easily go in and turn on airplane mode. I'm going to show you that it's very easy. You just swipe up from the bottom. There's the airplane mode. Turn it on. Now it's not going to do any of that searching for Wi-Fi or cellular.
Okay. Perfect.
So if you're in a problem, for a quick fix, just turn that on. You can still use Wi-Fi when you're in airplane mode, for example. You could turn Wi-Fi back on, and now you could be on your Wi-Fi. You just won't get any cellular services.
Kind of an easy way to turn the cellular off.
Great way to turn on temporarily when you're, you know. And the other thing you can do is you can turn it on when you're in an area of poor cellular coverage. Let's say you're out and about and you're touring buildings or something, and you're down in the basement of a building, and you know you're not going to have good cellular. That's really going to use a lot of battery power. It's constantly trying to find something. It's kind of freaked out that it doesn't have cellular. So just whip it into airplane mode while you have that meeting or while you're touring in areas of poor coverage. You can turn that off.
The next thing to pay attention to save your battery life is ask to join networks. And that you will find under Wi-Fi. And ask to join networks. What this does is it will constantly be sending out looking for Wi-Fi networks to join.
And asking you if you want to join them.
You want to join this one? It's kind of hilarious, like to be driving in the car through a neighborhood where everyone has Wi-Fi and have it on, because it's just going to constantly ask you.
Constantly looking. And you may not even notice it. It might be in your purse or in your pocket or in your dash, and you're not even looking, but your screen has come on like all these different times. It'll pop on and say, do you want to join this network? Do you want to join this network? And that's just not going to be good for many reasons.
So I would totally keep this off. And it will still remember, for example, when I come over to your house here, it remembers your Wi-Fi network and automatically joins it on my device. So it's not like you're turning that feature off.
And when you go home, it'll come back onto Wi-Fi. It's just not going to keep checking and looking for you. Okay. The next thing you can do is disable Bluetooth. If you're not using Bluetooth for something, go ahead and turn it off. It does use a lot of memory because it's constantly, again, looking for Bluetooth speakers, looking for Bluetooth cars to hook up with. And again, you know, it might be kind of a hassle. You might have to turn it on when you get in your car if you use Bluetooth. But, you know.
But certainly a lot of people have no Bluetooth usage.
So just turn it off. Another thing is that after a system update on your iPhone, it usually defaults to Bluetooth being on. So you may think it's off, but make sure you might have turned it off.
But when you get a new system, go back in here and make sure it's off.
Another thing to turn off is AirDrop, And in AirDrop, you go to your control center.
There's AirDrop. That's how you normally use it.
And you can go in there and you can turn it off in there. You can go to AirDrop and you can say off. So unless you're using, AirDrop is a way of transferring files between two devices. It kind of creates its own little mini network using the Bluetooth
It's a great way to share photos and
Wi-Fi. So Bluetooth and Wi-Fi have to be on for that. But it is a drainer. So go ahead and turn it off. Unless you're going to use it, turn it back on because it's constantly looking for other phones.
Because you're going to know when someone wants to AirDrop. They're going to say, hey, I want to AirDrop these
you know, when random people just AirDropping to you. So it's going to constantly look for phones to hook up if you don't do that.
That's a good idea. And the next one is kind of simple. Just turn your volume down. I guess if your volume is up, it's going to take up more. And again, easiest way to get to it is your control panel. Look, mine's way up.
Quit blaring your music, Karen. Turn it down.
But this doesn't affect it if you're not listening to something.
That's right. So I think it's a small thing. But
it's a small thing.
Also, you can go into the music app and turn off the music equalizer if you don't care about that. You know, you just go into settings, music, and turn off the equalizer. Okay.
That's a good one.
Another thing is vibration.
To turn off vibration.
So we're going to go to sounds.
There it is. I passed it. There it is.
You have it on. Vibrate to ring.
I like it to vibrate. I don't have a problem with my battery at all.
That's a good point to make.
If you don't have a problem, you don't have to worry about any of these.
Why are you watching this video?
But you're watching the video, so you probably have a problem.
Right. But, you know, pick and choose the things that really matter to you.
Maybe you like when I silence my phone, I like it to vibrate.
Right.
So that means when I, silence it by this switch here.
But you also have it on vibrate on ring. So every time it rings, it vibrates.
Oh,
Maybe
that's
you just
crazy.
Leave it on silent.
I don't even think I knew that.
Okay. Well, there you go.
You know what? I did know that. You know why I like it? Because if I have it in my pocket or something,
or your
a lot of times I can't hear the ring, but I can feel it. Well, I couldn't feel it in my purse.
That's true. Well, it might jump around.
Unless it was a body bag.
A body bag,
Anyways, so that's a good one to look at, though. If you're having a serious battery problem.
Turn that off.
And the next one is turn on reduce motion.
So with, I think it was iOS 7, it came out with this cool parallax situation. And What we can do is we can turn that off by going into settings in general and then go to accessibility. And it's down here and it's called reduce motion. And if you turn it on, it will reduce the motion of the user interface, including the parallax effect of icons.
Okay. And there's also those backgrounds that you could choose that move.
So when you turn your phone, you'll kind of see it's sort of a 3D kind of an effect.
Right.
If you turn that off or turn it on and reduce the motion, then that will save a lot of battery power. Okay. So go ahead and do that if you want to, if you need to.
Yep. The next one is kind of related with wallpaper. You pick the static wallpapers.
Right.
If you go to wallpaper and choose a new wallpaper, you can see there's, live or dynamic.
Yeah.
Or still.
So
these are the ones that move around.
Dynamic and live will take up more. Well, maybe not live, but dynamic will. Live only does if you push on it. Right. But stills is the way to go if you want to do that. And also when you pick one, you can turn off the perspective zoom because that will also create that kind of parallax effect.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
But, again, not a big deal, but the dynamic wallpapers did take up a lot of battery power.
Yeah,
so even though they're cool, if you're having trouble,
they're kind of fun and they move around, but can't use them.
Here's the next one's kind of a no-brainer. It would be to avoid using games or high-impact graphic apps. So if your battery is down and you're waiting for somebody or important phone call, don't sit there and play, a really intense game while you're waiting. And don't take video or
watch
the camera.
Netflix, a streaming service.
Exactly.
And one thing, and the camera takes up a lot. And I always notice, I say I don't have a battery problem. The only time I have a battery problem is like we're on a vacation and I'm taking photos like all day long.
Right. And in that case, you might want to just go into low battery mode or low power mode in the morning and then go off all day and shoot all your pictures.
Right.
And that
or we just make sure we have on our last trip, we just made sure we had the portable battery chargers.
Yes. And or a case that
tiny
has a charger.
And they just go in my purse.
Right. Very good.
Yep.
Very good. The next thing would be spotlight search. And a lot of people don't understand what that exactly is. So let's show the 2 ways you can get to spotlight search.
Oops, not Siri, not you, not right now. I'm going to go home and you just swipe down.
Nope. Oops, not quite that.
In the center. Now, if I was all the way at the top, so I got notifications panel.
All right. And that brings up the spotlight search, okay?
Okay. And
another way to do spotlight search, okay, is swipe to the left. So wherever you can search, these 2 places, what it's going to do is it's going to go out and it's going to search on your phone. But what you don't know is it's also searching in all your apps.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go look at the settings.
Okay.
It's crazy. And they seem to just default to on. Like you install a new app and it defaults to on. So go into
General.
General.
Spotlight search.
Right. And there they are.
So this means whenever I do a spotlight search, it's searching all these different apps. And I don't even know why.
Why would you even want it to search Find a Friend? But
GarageBand. Why would I want to search that?
Well, if you were looking for a song that you had written and it was in GarageBand.
Yeah, you're right. There might be some that you want.
Right.
Or like Evernote. I might want it to search there because I keep my notes there.
Right. And the reason is because it is constantly in the background indexing all the data on your phone.
Okay, so that's good. So it's not just when you use the search.
No. It's mostly because it's indexing everything.
So this seems like a big one to look at. If you're having a constant battery problem.
A huge one to look at.
Go into general, spotlight search, and just turn these off.
Exactly. I mean, imagine in Evernote, I have a ton of data in Evernote. I can't imagine that it's indexing all that all the time.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
It's crazy.
If I want to search
it's really neurotic.
Guess what? I'll go to Evernote and I'll search, right? I mean, I don't really need it to do that. So that's a really big one.
Right.
And then the next thing would be notifications.
Notifications.
We have a whole video on the notifications
which are wonderful. I love notifications, right?
Yeah. So if you're having a problem, you want to go to settings, go to notifications, and take a look at what you are having it notify. We have a whole tech bit on the notification center.
So you just go, listing all your apps that have notifications, and you can just tap on it and then, turn it off.
Turn it off or turn off the fact, don't let it come up, show on the lock screen. That's going to 5 to 10 seconds. It's going to turn it on and show it to you and come off again. So every notification you get lights the screen up for 5 to 10 seconds. Imagine if you have all these things, you may not even notice them, but they're going to come on. So turn it off. The other big one is mail. Mail and push mail notifications. So if we go out here and we go down to the mail section, fetch new data. Now, again, Karen doesn't have a battery problem, so she leaves it on.
Right.
It's not a problem.
I don't care.
It's pushing new data to your phone from the server whenever possible.
Okay.
Okay, and that's fine. But if you're having a problem, turn it off.
Right.
Okay, and then you can come down here and you can actually, if you have more than one mail client, like Karen has a Gmail and an iCloud and one from our Sync Sisters, she has iCloud set to push, but Gmail is set to fetch. And it will then go by this schedule down here. And she has it set to manual, which is perfect. So Gmail isn't doing anything.
When I go into my
Gmail,
my mail program, I can manually.
It'll manually search for it. So that's a big one.
Yeah. This is one probably a lot of people don't know about either.
Right, and especially if you have more than one email account, and especially if you have Exchange accounts or email or Gmail accounts. They do a lot of looking.
A lot. Yep, they do.
Yep. All right, we got a couple more features left to go.
We have their for iCloud features. There's a lot of things that you can set up for that. So we're in settings, and we're going to go into iCloud, okay? And you can see by all these apps that use syncing through iCloud. Right. Well, you know what? I don't really use notes, so I'm just going to turn that off. I don't care if it syncs.
Exactly.
Oh, and it brings up this scary message, delete from my iPhone. That's fine. If you want to turn it on, later, it'll bring all the data back.
Right, exactly.
So go in here and see ones that you're not using, just turn them off.
Right.
So they won't sync. They won't constantly be syncing.
Don't use notes, turn it off. You don't use reminders, turn it off. It won't constantly be looking. Are there new reminders? Are there new notes I should be syncing?
Sure.
So that's a good one.
Another one is to turn off auto time zone. Now that is under general, and then date and time.
Yep. Date and time.
Okay. And that's set automatically, which, if you're traveling, that can be nice.
It's a great feature.
But, most of the time, a lot of people travel all the time, so it'd be a great feature.
Then you really should keep
But for us, we go on vacation a couple times a year. But it's constantly looking, what time zone are you in? What time zone are you in?
Right.
What time zone are you in?
Should I change it? Yeah. So just set it yourself if you don't travel a lot. When you go on vacation, travel a lot, just change it.
Turn it on. Or then you can put it on auto.
That's right. You can put it on auto when you're traveling and then turn it off.
It's so interesting. All these things that are using the battery that you never think of it.
They just add up. Right. Now, another really big one is location services.
Okay.
So we're going to go back to general and we're going to go out here to settings, and we're going to go down and we're going to go to privacy. Where is it? Privacy. You might think, what? Well, privacy. It's your location that it's tracking. So that is under privacy.
Okay.
And location services allow apps to use your GPS data of where you are, which is great for some things like weather. You want it to know where you are. You want it to be able to alert you. Or maps. A lot of things. Photos. I like to keep the GPS data on my photos. So you can come in here and you can turn them all off, or you can come in here and you can go individually by app.
Right.
And you can tell it whether you want it to do it, like in the case of the camera, never or while only I'm using the app.
Yep.
Some of them are a little bit different.
They work a little differently, yeah.
You'll see here a little gray arrow next to it if it's used it in the last 24 hours. You can see those. If it's purple, it means it recently used it. And if it's purple outline, it means that you've entered or it's used it in a geofencing situation, which is a temporary network that's set up around a location. Like stores use that a lot. So when you come into a store, it'll show you specials and things like that.
Right.
So you can turn those off for apps that you don't care about. Like, do you care that Open Table uses your location? Probably not. Only while using the app.
Right.
You know? So there's certain things like Hungry Shark. Do we care if that game uses it?
I could get rid of that game.
Probably not. Yeah. Sure, you love Hungry Shark.
No, right.
So that's another one, location services. Did we already talk about Hey Siri? No, we didn't. Okay, that's another one.
Hey Siri. So the next one is Hey Siri. And this is a feature that...
It's general Siri. Siri should have her own category.
She should. That's what I thought.
I know.
The Hey Siri. that she'll just be evoked just from you saying, "Hey Siri."
Right, and guess what? She's constantly listening
someone
to what
saying
we're
my name.
saying.
Is someone saying, "Hey Siri"? Does somebody want me?
Right.
Your phone is very, very
Hey
neurotic.
Siri. Hey Siri. No,
it'd be my voice. Hey Siri. See, isn't that fun?
Never mind, Siri.
Never mind.
Very cool, but she's always listening.
She is. So
and that's on the 6S or the 6S Plus.
Right.
Anything prior to that, it's only Hey Siri when they're plugged into power.
Right.
So really not as much of a big deal on the older phones, unless you're always plugged
unless
into
you're a cool kid like me and you have
yes. All right, we got 3 more to go. Disable background app refresh. This is a huge one. Apps that are running in the background can be refreshing, which is a nice feature because you can automatically be updated as soon as you go into Facebook. It's all updated as soon as you go into mail. All your mail is there, things like that.
Right, and you can see we're in settings general, and it's just right there, background app refresh.
Right.
You could turn them all off, or you could go app by app.
App by app, which is probably the best way to do it, because some things you might want to refresh in the background, like maps. If they don't refresh in the background, you have to stay in the map app the whole time you're being navigated.
Oh, right. Yeah. You can't take a phone call or...
Right. Or weather. Weather is important to probably let it keep looking.
That's good points,
especially during a stormy season.
Right.
The exceptions are, if you have that turned off, the exceptions are if an app is using location services, it'll run in the background.
Okay.
If it's playing music, recording audio, or checking for incoming voice over IP calls, i.e. Skype. Skype is constantly looking. So if you're not a Skype user, and I didn't really realize this, I just deleted mine off my phone because I never use Skype.
But if you like Skype, but you're having a battery problem,
you might want to get rid of it.
Turn that off.
Yeah.
The next one to save your battery is disable app updates. And this is a feature that I actually quite like a lot, but if you're having a battery problem, go into the iTunes App Store setting and turn off the automatic updates.
Right.
What this means is it's just going to go and get things that need to be updated and automatically download them for you, which is a nice feature.
It's a great feature. One thing you could do is you could for sure turn off use cellular data.
Right.
Because
you don't
otherwise,
want to use your cellular data for that.
That'd be another thing to check on your son's phone.
That's right.
See if that's
my
on.
data hog.
The data hog. So that's a nice feature that you can disable. Force quit your apps. Okay, this is something that you may controversy. You may have heard of this before.
To force quit, I'm sure you know, but double click on your home button.
And then all your apps come up. And the thing you may not realize is when you go into an app and then you leave the app and go into another one, guess what? That other app is still running in the background. And here are all the ones that are running in the background. Oops, on Karen's. Again, to invoke that, you click twice quickly on the phone or the iPad and it'll come up. And you can scroll through them. It's a quick way to go back and forth between them. But if you want to close one of them, you can swipe up.
That's called crashing your apps.
Right. Now, it was beknownst to everybody that this was a smart thing to do. Get rid of these apps because they're running in the background and they're taking up memory. But they are also stored in your RAM memory, the random access memory on your phone. And it's easy to go back and forth between them. So actually, if you're in a low power situation or a low battery situation, you may not want to crash the apps you use a lot because it takes a lot of battery power to open and close the apps.
There you go.
So again, if you're really having a lot of problems though, there may be one crashing in the background. So, and then like they said, the Facebook app really doesn't adhere to the background app refresh thing. It still does stuff. So, use that.
Sort of a controversy.
It's a controversy. Do or don't do, not sure.
Right. Test it out. Decide for yourself.
Yep. And then
the last one is something that it makes a lot of sense, is to calibrate your battery. So let it go down to 0.
Yep. Let it go completely down to 0 and die
dead
before you charge it, and then charge it all the way to 100%. And I've read a couple of different places you should do that like once a month, and it's really good for your battery to do. It'll expend not just the battery usage, but the battery lifespan of your battery.
Especially if you notice it jumping in usage really quick, like it's 20% and like a minute later it's 2%.
Right. And
that might really mean that you need to let it drain out. So leave it on till the phone dies, in a sense.
Yeah.
And then recharge it.
Right. And I think that can really help.
So I hope we've given you some great ideas on how to save your battery. I know it can be a lot of problem for a lot of people.
That's right.
Thanks for watching the Sync Sisters Tech Bit.
And please subscribe to our channel.